Akash Inti, the real reflection of you. You know, I was driving home earlier today, back from the gym, hanging out with a couple of the homies. And on my drive back, I was listening to some, YouTube clips. Some, YouTube motivation stuff, right? Great stuff to listen to, by the way, just as an FYI, as if you didn't already know that. But while I was listening to it and I was driving in my car on, these really windy roads in one of the reservations, I think this was the South Mountain Reservation, right around the Milburn area, driving through there, and again, windy roads. It's pretty dark out at this point, hearing the sounds of the crickets, and whipping my car around, I had this sense of real deep gratitude, very a deep sense of gratitude for some of the simplest things of my life. First and foremost, my car. Really, man, grateful for my car. The ability to travel, the ability to move around. And I almost started looking at myself. I did. It's not I almost did. I did. I looked at myself. I looked at the condition that I was keeping my car in. How clean was I keeping it on both the interior and the exterior? How much did I show and demonstrate through my actions? How much does this actually really mean to me? It got me thinking, yeah, I do a pretty good job. I mean, for the most part, I keep the car clean. I don't have many things in it. But then when I looked at the details of it, I was like, but how true is that really, And that made me realize that not only is really life lived in the details, but life is lived in the details of our actions, which is really small. Or it's almost like, I don't know, you can think of it what you want, but it struck me. It struck me that there's such an importance of living life in the finest of details. I remember working with, this is another story, I remember working with a couple of my Masonic brethren at the lodge. The lodge was in a period of restoration, and it obviously it's always continually in a period of restoration. But we were working on that specific day. It was a Saturday morning in the summer. I want to say maybe last year, early spring, actually. Early spring, or late spring, early summer. And we were working on the lodge. We were working on kind of painting the walls, and then cleaning the marble with acid, like an acid wash, right? And I remember working with one of my Masonic brethren, and he himself was a literal Mason, not a Freemason, but a stone layer, right? He was a builder. And he was telling me, I was much older than me, he's probably in his late 40s, early 50s. And he was showing me how he went about doing his work. And let me tell you, this man is known to be a phenomenal Mason, in the sense that the work that he does is just surreal, absolutely surreal. And what he was teaching me, or what I was learning through observing him, because I've never done any of this stuff before. I remember that was the first time I did acid washing of marble in my life. And yeah, I'd done some painting in my life, but not really all too much. Meanwhile, here I am learning from a master, someone who's done this literally hundreds, if not thousands of times. And he imparted that idea that details, it's all in the details. All of the work is in the details. So I remember I was doing my thing. I was washing the acid and whatnot, and I was like, all right, I'm done. And he came back over, he took a look at it, and he's like, oh, well, there's a couple spots here, there's a couple spots there, there's a couple spots there. And I just didn't even notice it. I didn't have the eyes to see that. I mean, obviously I have the physical eyes, but I didn't have that eye. I didn't have the perception to see that because, again, this is a man who's done this many more times. And I defaulted to his eyes. I defaulted to his perception because, again, if a master speaks to me, well, and if it's a master and we're doing his specific craft, well, I'm going to listen to that man for what he's saying. But if it's someone who's not a master telling me something, well, that's a whole different conversation. So I went over it again, and I went through the details, and he looked at it a second time. He's like, dude, like, that's awesome. I can tell, like, because most people, he said that, like, he would teach or whatnot, they would just get lazy or whatever. He said with me, he saw the big difference. He saw that I was doing the work. And so the purpose of this story, getting back to the purpose, is as I was driving, I was recognizing that my life is lived in the details and the details of my actions. That's such a key concept that I continue to come back to, is what are the small little things that I'm doing in my life? From the way I clean my room or I don't, from the way I clean my car or I don't. All of these things they say so much about me. And they teach me about myself. And for that, I'm so grateful. Keep up, thrive, and stay sexy.